So let's take a look at a few of the tips that you might apply when you are building more dashboards, when you are working with different teams within your company. For example, if they're using the data from the Bloomreach Engagement platform. So maybe a few reasons why do we want to scale up, or why do we want to be more flexible in building dashboards? The first reason is that we build a beautiful dashboard that tells us all the necessary data, gives us a nice picture about the performance of let's say a campaign that you've launched, or web layer experiment, any on-site personalization. But we would typically start with a dashboard that is focusing on one campaign. With parameterization or controls, we can make sure that we can apply this dashboard to any campaign without having to change all the specific reports, metrics, etc. So we can just apply one filter for all the different metrics within the dashboard. We might want to be able to scale up or be more flexible if we want to analyze different time periods or different markets in the same dashboard. So you would again have one, let's say, golden template dashboard, and you will just apply different filters to use there. You might also have multiple stakeholders which require different time filters, different campaign filters, different market filters, anything in the data. But again, they want to have one standardized dashboard that they can always come back to and just change what they need to look at. Customization of dashboards or parameterization is also useful if you have a lot of similar dashboards, and if you now needed to make a change, if you wanted to add a metric, in a typical scenario, you would need to revisit every single dashboard, add it there. Once you switch to the customizable or parameterized dashboard, this is no longer going to be your pain, so you'll just be updating and maintaining one dashboard. And one thing about maybe slightly different usage of dashboards, if we want to provide a nice way for users to find the right dashboards, if you have a 10, 20, 50 users in your company, your colleagues using the platform, it might be very hard to find the right data, to find the right dashboard once you have a lot of them. We have customers with more than 200-300 dashboards created over their history of usage. So it's nice to find a system to guide the user, your colleague, into the right dashboard. So the first thing I will mention is that you can set one of the dashboards as the home dashboard, which is the one that is shown to every user when they log in to the platform. And within the dashboard, you can use HTML block to basically give them a message or give them links to different dashboards. So this helps to avoid clutter reporting with incorrect definitions in case somebody would find an outdated dashboard or something similar. So as an example, we can take a look at how this dashboard is made. So as I mentioned, we have the HTML block within the dashboard. Don't worry, you will not need to code anything because it still has a nice visual editor for the dashboard. So let's take a look at what I did. So at first, I inserted an image using the image button here. This can be our logo. I have customers who build dashboards for specific campaigns or web layers. So what they typically do is they could take a screenshot of the web layer and they add it here. So anybody coming to the evaluation dashboard knows what does the web layer look like, what is it that the customers are seeing. You can then leave a nice message or explanation, step-by-step guide for your colleagues. And then using formatting, so whether you decide to just use bold or whether you decide to use different types of headings, you can highlight the most important parts. In this case, I've added a link to traffic dashboard. So there is a specific insert edit link button for this. And I'm just linking to the URL of the dashboard that I want to share. So the same URL as I can see at the top. In this case, I removed the edit part because I only want the users to see the view option, but I would just copy paste this and add it as a link. What it does is that once I come to this dashboard, I can just take a look what's relevant to me. In case I'm in web analytics team, for example, I can find the link to traffic dashboard. So I'm always guided to the standardized dashboard that I should be using. So this is again very helpful if you have a lot of dashboards, if you have multiple users from different teams using the platform. this helps with orientation and finding the right data. Okay, then second part of customization or enabling some flexibility in dashboards are time filters. So let's actually take a look at the traffic dashboard. And at the top, you can see that we have a filter which is currently set to lifetime. So if I need to report on a different time period, I can change this, for example, to last 30 days. The important thing here is that the metrics and reports, anything that you are using within the dashboard, they should be set to lifetime when you are creating them, because otherwise there might be conflict between what is set in the metric on the metric level and what is set on the dashboard level. So if you want to use time filters, I would always recommend to build metrics with lifetime time filters. So you can then specify the time filter in the dashboard itself, and you don't have to again edit all the different metrics, all the different dashboards. In case there is a conflict, so let's say your metric is built for last 30 days, but in the dashboard you will try to look at last 30 days before 90 days. So let's say 4 months ago, you would not see any data because the metric filter is set for last 30 days. The dashboard is set for different time period. There is no overlap, doesn't show any data. So in case you see zeros and you are trying to use time filters, it might be that some of the metrics, some of the reports are not filtered for the wider time period. In case you have a metric built, for example, again, for last 30 days, and the dashboard filter would be last 7 days, in that case, the filter is applied correctly. The metric will only show data for last 7 days. So again, once you are in the view mode, let me just open this again. You can change the time filters. You can play with them. They are not applied to all the other users, so multiple users can be looking at the dashboard at the same time with different time filters, depending on what they need to analyze, what they need to look for. Okay, and then customizable dashboards, which is a new feature we've recently released. You might have seen some new buttons in the user interface, which might be confusing at the first look. So I will try to give you a better idea of how to use it and when to use this. Okay. So I've built a very simple dashboard, which is looking at campaign sent, delivered, and clicked. We will look at building the open metric in here. What you can see, something different from the previous dashboard, is at the top. You can see a preview for parameter section, which is asking me about campaign name. So I can click into the form field, and let's say I want to report how many emails did we send, deliver, and how many emails were clicked in the post-purchase NPS flow. So I would select this campaign, refresh, and I get the data for the specific campaign. Now I want to look at birthday campaign, for example. So let me type birthday, again, refresh, and I can see different metrics or different results of the metric. How to achieve this? How do you build a dashboard which is where you can apply parameters or controls? So for this, when you are building the metric, you wouldn't specify the campaign name as you might when you are building a dashboard for a specific campaign that you are running, but we would use the parameter there. So let's build a metric which is looking at how many emails were opened, and let's parameterize it. So we are starting with a new metric. I will want to look at how many campaign events were there, where the status is opened. So this is so far standard, nothing new. But right now, since I want to be able to filter the specific metric for a specific campaign name, which I will define later or which I will decide on later, we need to add this filter and basically tell the dashboard that it will need to apply whatever is defined in the dashboard at the top. So I would select the campaign name, as that's what we want to filter on, or what we want the filter to be based on. And in the value, I wouldn't select any specific value. I wouldn't select birthday or anything like that, but I would select the very first, maybe scarily looking parameter, which will insert a different looking box into the value form field. At the bottom, I will also now see a preview for parameters. So in case I want to check if the metric is working correctly, I can select campaign in here, hit preview, and this is already giving me the data specific to welcome flow. So now that I created my metric with a parameter instead of fixed value, I can save it. I can add it into the dashboard. Let me resize it so we have all 4 of them next to each other. And now I can apply a filter from the dashboard again. So selecting a campaign, hitting preview, I'm now seeing results for birthday campaign in terms of email sent, delivered, opened, and clicked. Anything that you can use in dashboards can be parameterized. So in case you want to also parameterize the segmentation when creating a new segmentation and using filters. So let's look at customers who purchased in a specific channel. So source type, and then I'm gonna add the purchase source type, meaning that once I insert this segmentation into the dashboard, it's gonna ask me what's the source type that I want to look at. Is it online? Is it offline? Is it both of them? I can decide later. So again, this can be applied to any analysis, any type of definition like aggregates, expressions, running aggregates. All of them are usable in this manner, and it really helps if you have 40, 50 different definitions in the dashboard. You don't have to update all of them. You can just use the dashboard filter.